Welcome back to Views from the 50, an NFL podcast where we provide coverage on all things NFL. I'm your co-host, El Jefe, and I'm joined here by my fellow members of the SFN crew. How y'all fellas doing tonight?
Yeah, man. Good, man. Ready for another week. Exciting week ahead.
Yeah, I mean, everything is good. I'm glad that I am not in close proximity with Diddy or Brother Love, as they call him. No slander or libel coming from me. Just, I'm glad I'm not in close proximity with that guy.
Understandable.
I'm sorry.
Understandable.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well, we're not here to touch on that subject, but
we shouldn't be touching on anything. Honestly, should not be touching on anything.
Outside the forehead.
Well, let's get into one guy, man, that's been showing up and showing out all season long. Mr. CJ Stroud, man, came back on the Bengals, who were, I think, on a 3-game win streak at the time. Came back, got a walk-off field goal for the victory. 1 week after breaking the rookie record, this man's on fire. I don't know. I'm thinking they're gonna make the playoffs. I hope to see them, get that first round upset. They'll probably, hopefully, if they can make it to the second round, I'm sure they'll lose in the second round. But this week coming up, they got the Cardinals, so that should be an easy dub for CJ. How y'all feel about CJ though?
Yeah, I mean that's my guy. If it's my quarterback not named Dak. The dancing moves, what he brought from Ohio State. We're not going to do that because I can't dance. That's more for Sav, who is MIA right now. I know Drake's dropping an album, so that might be where he might be prepping. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Please don't beat me.
You're probably right.
Could be. Yeah. But no, I mean, he's 15 touchdowns with 2 interceptions, 2,600 yards. His QBR is 63%, and his completion rate is at 61%. I mean, the kid looks good, man. He has Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz, Nico. I think it was Nico Collins. Is that his last name? I could be wrong. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, he's got a slew of weapons, and he's making do with, what some people would argue is not the greatest group, or the greatest wide receiver room, but he's making it look pretty good, man. What were you gonna say, Fa?
Oh no, I was gonna say I don't know if you mentioned Tank Dell too as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, you got me. Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for speaking on him. But I never want to leave anybody. I'm making sure that I don't want anybody to feel undervalued here. But no, I mean CJ Stroud is we thought Anthony Richardson was going to be the guy, but CJ Stroud has come out this season and said, yeah, no, I'm really the guy. He's obviously going to be offensive. I mean, he's going to be the rookie of the year. No, I mean, hands down, he's offensive rookie of the year. He should be the overall rookie of the year. But yeah, no, that was an amazing comeback against the Bengals, who basically had them boys dead to rights. It seemed like, and CJ was like, "Yeah, no, I'm still here. I'm still on the football field. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it's crazy because I had Bryce at the beginning of the year as my rookie of the year, and right now he's not really doing too well. And CJ is really showing out because I was a big fan of CJ too as well. Obviously, just in that system, you never knew what you were going to get because D'Amico's already a defensive mind coach. Coming in there, obviously that's the team that he played for back in the day. That's who he got drafted for. But he's a defensive mind coach, and the defense was going to step up, but you didn't know how he's going to prep CJ and what kind of offense was going to come in with CJ too as well. But CJ's been proving all the doubters right. Wrong, I would say, for the most part, and he's been doing a great job at QB, and he's in discussions right now for MVP at this point, which is crazy. For a rookie to be in the discussions, but he's playing as well. As he could be in the discussions for MVP, but obviously he's going to win the offensive player of the year for rookies for sure because he's a hell of a talent. And also with him and Tank Dell being a 1-2 punch as a rookie class, that's crazy for the Texans itself to look up to with them and Nico Collins obviously being there too as well. They have quite a few depth that they can use down the line for them to be really successful. So he's in a good situation.
Yeah, and I also want to shout out what's his name D'Amico Ryans. Got to make sure I say it right there. Head coach, first year head coach. man, he's getting the job done out there. I gotta shout him out. Be on the lookout. He might be winning Coach of the Year.
That's what I was gonna say. If they can win that division, get like 11 wins, he should be Coach of the Year 1,000%.
Yeah, 100%. It's between him and O'Connell right now in Minnesota because they're on a 5-game win streak right now, and bringing in Dobbs and all that. But absolutely, I said D'Amico. I would love to see win that because he has a young team, young nucleus overall, young coaching staff. So yeah, he's getting it done.
Yeah. I mean, we could argue for Dan Campbell too, because Dan Campbell got that Detroit team at 7-2. So
absolutely. Yep. Totally agree.
There's a lot of arguments to be made for that. Yeah, for sure. But shout out CJ, man. Keep doing your thing, getting the job done. But let's get it right into the next one. We got after 3 straight losses, man, and then followed by a bye week. It looked like the 49ers rejuvenated themselves and got healthy because these boys put on a show. Beat the crap out of the Jags, 34-3. Didn't let up a touchdown this past week. I mean, for me, I personally didn't want to see it, but for their fans, it was a good sight to see. I mean, they came in there, they got 5 sacks on Trevor Lawrence. Their defense didn't let up a touchdown, and they looked healthy and they looked as strong as ever, like they were doing the first couple weeks of the year. So, this is a team that everybody, again, needs to be worried about. They're back on the map as if they never left after those 3 losses. How y'all feel about the 49ers?
For me, it was convincing. It was a cool win. They're going into a hostile environment, against the Jags, been 6-2 at the time. It was it was a test, I'll say, for them. But still, at the same time, I want to see it against somebody a little bit more competitive, at home, because the Jags have been kind of up and down. They've had a couple good wins, but they haven't been against like really good teams too. I want to see it against somebody a little bit better. It was an impressive win overall for them to stop them and shut them down the way that they did. But I just feel like I need to see a little bit more from them overall.
Unfortunately, we may have to wait a couple weeks for that until week 13 when they play the Eagles, because
exactly
a couple games shouldn't be too hard for them.
That's how I'm feeling. Like it looks good right now, at least, especially because Purdy has all his pieces back too as well. Debo's back, Kittle's back, McCaffrey's still looking good too as well. And obviously the defense, how it is right now, with having Chase and Bosa on the ends, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard for whoever to play that defense overall. But we just got to see how Purdy looks against like really good talent, especially with these colder months coming, down the stretch too as well. I want to see him in the colder weather stadiums, not in these dome situations or in San Francisco. See how he operates in that, and then see if he can, really get the job done.
Yeah, no. San Francisco's back to where they need to be, at least at full strength on offense. They lost 3 straight, and obviously they were missing a couple pieces throughout that 3-game losing streak, but. Adding Deebo Samuel clearly must make a large difference. You have to game plan against that entire full slew of weapons that he'll have. But I really want to talk about that defense and Fred Warner, arguably Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, interception, 7 tackles. He's got 78 tackles on the season, I believe. 3 interceptions, a couple forced fumbles as well. So, I mean, Fred Warner, I think, is really what keeps this team going. Obviously, 2 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions. Obviously Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, easily, another candidate for Offensive Player of the Year, if not the leading candidate for Offensive Player of the Year, even though his streak was ended with Jacksonville, which is kind of funny because, the 49ers would seem like they should have had all the starters on the field. They kept him in the game just to see if he can get that last touchdown. It's like, at least Jacksonville had some sort of pride to not let him get that streak, get the record. So kudos to Jacksonville having some sort of heart. But, I mean, Fred Warner has that, elite defensive unit firing on all cylinders in Jacksonville. A high-powered offense in their own right. Found out what it means to go up against that San Francisco defense. Kind of, shades of the Sunday night debacle with Dallas. So, I'm obviously not a fan of the San Francisco 49ers, but them at full strength are a force to reckon with. For multiple weeks we've said that the San Francisco 49ers, at least myself, said that San Francisco is the best team in football, and that's the way that they looked against Jacksonville, on all cylinders, firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, that's for sure. They definitely look like one of the best teams in the NFL this past week. But I'm sure that'll continue. They play the Tampa next, and then they play Seattle. But as Wayne said, we need to see them play some real competition. So right after that, they'll have to travel over to Philly, who has the best record in the NFL currently. So I can't wait for that game. That'll be fun. But until then, let's move on. We got Kyler Murray. He returned. For what reasons, I still don't know. They were 1-8 at the time, but he set him up for a walk-off field goal victory against the Falcons, who seem to be dipping in that division, and I'm not too pleased about that. But we can save that for another day. But good for Kyler coming back and getting the job done, being able to get a victory on the Falcons. They're 2-8 at this point. I don't know where they think this season's going to go, but I think right now they just need to see what Kyler's got left in the tank, and probably proceed to see what they do for next season. I think they already called this season a wrap. But how y'all feel?
Yeah, no. Let the Cardinals play out of their draft position. Who cares? Let Kyler Murray run around like a little kid. Like was the meme? He looks like a little kid that stole something. He just ran off. Yeah, let him have all the fun he wants, as long as, if he don't want to play Call of Duty, he wants to show why he's on the field, why he came back. Sure, let him do it. He looked excellent. Great last-minute drive to secure the win. Wonderful. We don't need Arizona. We don't need him to acquire any weapons, anything of the sort. So let him do his thing. Happy to see you back, Kyler Murray. Happy to have you back, big dog. We are very happy to have you back. Wasn't that video of that girl that sounded like she was trying to seduce us? Like, oh, we're so happy. Something she said to him, and Kyler looked at her like, yeah, I'm happy to be back. I gotta find that video. Actually, I don't want to find the video because it's very inappropriate, man. It's just not okay.
I'm happy.
People wild out for video cameras, man, and microphones. They just do weird things.
Chill on the guy. Though. Chill on the guy.
No, it wasn't even him. It was the chick that recorded. I'm not gonna do the voice because it's just gonna be creepy. But the way she just said, "Happy to have you back," I was like, "Whoa, hold on, let that brother breathe. Let him breathe."
Definitely happy he's back. He played well. Obviously, you don't want him to get injured again. Hopefully, he doesn't get injured again. But he wants to play this out. Obviously, to see his play out with his teammates right now, which is a good idea. Let him play it out. As long as his knee is feeling well, let him go for it. Don't let him do too much. Just play out the rest of the season. But obviously, and like you were saying, play for that draft position. Get him some better weapons, get him some better O-line help, because obviously he still needs an O-line because he's still running for his life. Called him Mighty Mouse. He's just running for his life, just running everywhere. So he just needs more help on the O-line situation. And then if he gets another receiver too as well to complement Marquise Brown, they should be okay on that side of the ball. They seem like they fight with Gannon right now. So I guess he's seeming to be like the right coach for them. But let's see how they play out with the draft position for next year, because I remember they did trade that third pick to the Texans last year, so they should get maybe like the Texans pick also this year. I forgot. I got to just double check that. But that's a possibility right there.
Well, hopefully their draft stock plummets. But in other news, the highest scoring game in the Lions and the Chargers this past week, they were in a shootout. They had another walk-off field goal victory here, where the Lions took this one. It was a very exciting game from start to finish. We all know Keenan Allen and Eckler were doing their thing, but David Montgomery, he was doing his thing, and Mr. Gibbs, 2-touchdown Gibbs, shout him out. He did his thing, and golf came through in the end. So it was fun and exciting to see. I know some people's tickets got screwed up from this one, but it is what it is. But there might be some problems with the Chargers. They're now under 500. I'm not sure how they're going to look make it to the playoffs, because the AFC is it's going to be rough. It's going to be tough. So good luck for Justin. I don't know. I don't know what's in their future, but how y'all feel about this game and then moving forward?
Oh, my bad. I thought Williams was going to lead off. No, I mean no, it's good. I mean, I know that there's the rumors have been circulating somewhere that Bill Belichick may end up being the new coach for the Chargers next season. I know Brandon Staley is not getting it done. Their defense, when the game is on the line, they tend to just sit back in the zone. The other thing, we know that what's his name? Kellen Moore is going to draw up offensive plays to where, Herbert's going to be able to rack up a bunch of yards and stats and TDs, but it's not going to translate to winning games when it's all said and done. Dan Campbell, as I said earlier, arguably going to be coach of the year. He's got this Lions team, and as we said last year on our episodes, that the Lions are willing to run through walls for this coach here. And even though it wasn't the defensive game that I'm sure he would like, they kept their composure when the game was on the line. The ball was put in their hands, and they drove down the field and kicked the field goal. And that's really all you can ask for. Jared Goff, his career has pretty much been brought back to life since coming to Detroit. The Jahmyr Gibbs kid, I'm sorry if I'm not saying his name correctly, but him and David Montgomery is a solid 1-2. Jahmyr Gibbs, solid 1-2 punch at the running back position. Every so often with David Montgomery, he'll go down. You end up finding another running back. At least that was going on in Chicago. So now that David Montgomery's back, he's going to get his yards and get his stats. And now they have a second running back. They can do the two-headed monster drill. That is pretty. It's in the league, and it works to the benefit of most teams because you can switch it up. You got thunder and lightning, as they would say. So, Amon-Ra St. Brown is obviously still going to be a top-tier receiver. He had 158 for a tug as well. So, I mean, what more can you ask for from this Detroit Lions team? They're 7-2, leading in the NFC North, and I do believe that they're going to win this division. And I do think that Dan Campbell and them do have a solid chance. He has a solid chance of winning Coach of the Year and winning a first-round playoff game because, they're not going to get the bye, but there's a very good chance that they win their first round playoff game as long as they don't beat Dallas.
Hey, they're only one game back out of that bye. They got the second best record in the league right now. Well, they're tied for the second best record with the Chiefs right now. So I mean, anything's possible.
Eagles, right?
Yeah,
Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles. Yeah. So I mean, they're going to beat the Bears. They're going to beat the Packers. The Saints is a tough game, depending on which Jameis Winston is going to show up. The Broncos are on a 2-3. They're on a 3-game win streak right now. So the Broncos, they're looking like a decent challenge. You have the Vikings again. Then you have the Vikings twice, and you have Dallas. So they have 4 possible losses out of those. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8 games, 4 possible losses, and then you have Philly's schedule. Who does Philly have left?
They got a tougher schedule for sure. These next 3.
No, Philly's definitely about to run the gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, let's see who Philly has. Philly has. They got the Chiefs, the Bills, 49ers. Tough. They got us. Then they have the Giants, Cardinals, and Giants.
Their last four is a sweep.
Seahawks aren't slouches.
Is it in Seattle though?
It is.
It's in Seattle. It's in Seattle.
That's not going to be an easy game. No.
I don't know. Playing in Seattle doesn't look to be too hard anymore.
But so that's the thing, because the Eagles' margin of victory, it's never really too crazy. Their only real blowout wins were they don't even have really any blowout. I guess the Buccaneers, they beat them by 14, but even then, it's not really a blowout. I guess they held them to 11 points, but I guess they also held Miami, which is a high-octane offense, only 17 points. So,
I mean, I don't know. It all depends. But I mean, Lions have a slight chance. We'll see what happens, but right now they're 1 game back. I'll say that. Right now, currently in the standings, they're 1 game out of that bye.
That is true. And again, Philadelphia, you never really know which Philadelphia team is going to show up. And Jalen Hurts, for what it's worth, is hampering some sort of injury.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. It'll be interesting, and that'll be definitely something we'll monitor closely as it gets down to the wire. But until then, man, like y'all said, Denver, like y'all were saying, Denver's on a winning streak, and recently they beat up Monday night. They beat up on the Bills. After that game, the Bills went ahead. They fired their offensive coordinator, and it's starting to look like Josh Allen's going to miss the playoffs for the first time since his rookie career. Personally, if you ask me, I think they will miss the playoffs. I think this is the year that they don't make it. And it's time for somebody else to step in and step up. I think the Dolphins might be the only team out of that division to go to the playoffs this year. I don't even think the Jets will be able to make it. And that's mainly because Aaron Rodgers wasn't able to be there this full season. But as for the Bills, man, yeah, I think their season's just about all she wrote. I think Josh Allen and the Bills it's time to pack the season up. I think Diggs is going to be requesting a trade in the offseason as well. So that's something to monitor. But how y'all feel about the Bills and them firing their head coach, and will Josh Allen make the playoffs this year?
Well, no, Josh Allen will not make the playoffs this year for sure. They got a tough stretch coming up for these last few. It's going to be awful for them. For them firing their OC really wasn't the fix because at the end of the day, it's on Josh Allen. Josh Allen's not making the plays that he's supposed to. I say it's partially on like the Madden curse. I'll say maybe like 40% on the Madden curse and 60% on Josh Allen. Because at the end of the day, Josh Allen has been, just as bad as Dak has been with interceptions, if you want to put it that way. Dak has been good. Dak has been a better quarterback overall, better than what Josh has been. But turnover wise, they've been turning over the ball just about the same. So if you're going to talk about, if people are, outside are going to talk about Dak in that kind of light, they have to talk about Josh Allen in that same light because Josh Allen is just not getting the job done. And he's the reason why they're losing these games. He's the reason why they haven't made a conference championship, appearance really at this point. They've only made it to the divisional. So, yeah, they really have to just figure that out. Like you said, the Dolphins, yeah, they'll be the only team that does make it to the playoffs. Every other team won't make it. I hope Aaron doesn't rush his way back. I hope his Achilles is good. I know he's trying to make like a mid-December kind of return, as he's saying, but I just want him to sit out this whole year and try to get himself back and prepare for next year because it would have been a lot better seeing him play this year with this Jets team because they would have won a lot more games. A lot of these games that Zach Wilson is losing is all on Zach Wilson. So it's unfortunate football that they have to go through again this year, but next year when A-Rod is back on, they'll be pretty dominant, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, definitely the Bills are in trouble. They won't make it to the playoffs. Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah. I just want to ask you a question. How did Dak catch a stray right there? How did Dak catch a stray?
I had to. No. The only reason why it wasn't even a stray, this was more praise. This was more praise because I said he was a better quarterback.
He actually did say Dak was a better performing at a better quarterback.
No,
so there was a little praise.
No, I know. It just seemed like it was like a backhanded compliment because he said he's throwing interceptions like Dak Prescott. I was like, no, wait a minute now. Dak has 5 less interceptions than he does this season. I just wanted to make sure that we clarified.
You're right. No.
Okay, all right. I just wanted
outside noise. How they crucified Dak. They got to crucify Josh Allen because he's the worst.
I agree because the way, that's right. I just wanted to make sure because I heard it and I was like, now wait a minute. Dak has been minding his business. Has been minding his business.
Yes.
He did not do anything today. He had an excellent game. But no, to be fair, I agree with you 100%. The way that Dak Prescott was criticized last season, the way it does come with it comes with the territory of being a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Obviously, Tony Romo faced some of the same vitriol and ridicule. But Josh Allen, 19 touchdowns, but he has 11 interceptions. And these interceptions come in untimely moments, obviously. Aside from playing the Chiefs in the playoffs and, obviously not getting the opportunity and in the overtime rules changing because of that game, because that, if the Bills get a chance, they do possibly win the game and, probably go into the Super Bowl, things of that nature. But when it's all said and done, Josh Allen has not been playing to the level that he needs to play in order for this Bills team to excel. You can say that it's other factors as well. Maybe the defense is showing up, but at the end of the day, he is the quarterback, and the quarterback is obviously going to take the brunt of the beating when the quarterback is not performing. And for what it's worth, as you said earlier, Wayne, Josh Allen is not performing at the level he should be. And Hefe, to your point, I would not be surprised if Stephon Diggs does ask for a trade in the offseason. Where does he end up? Nobody knows. But I think it is time that they part their ways, or that they part ways. You know what I mean? It's just time. And the Bills do have a rough section of the schedule coming up. They have the Jets, even though it's in Buffalo, but they have Philly, Kansas City, and Dallas back-to-back weeks, which is ugly to have to deal with. And I'm just saying that for the Eagles and Chiefs. That's going to be an ugly. Those are two ugly matchups. And, maybe he will get up to play up against Patrick Mahomes, but who knows? Especially if Taylor Swift shows up. If Taylor Swift shows up to the game, you already know Travis Kelce's going for 250 yards and 5 touchdowns. So you already know what that means.
The thing is, she is showing up. She's from Pennsylvania, dog. So she's definitely showing up.
250 and 5.
She's showing up.
Isn't she on tour though?
Nah, I don't even know. I think she'll still come, dog. Like, honestly.
Oh no, that Monday night game where it's going to be, this Monday night, she's absolutely going to show up. She's absolutely showing up. Yeah, but it's going to be in Kansas City, I think, because my significant other, she was saying that if the game was in Philadelphia, she was going to go. So I would have spent my Sunday alone. But,
yeah, unfortunately, they should have won the Super Bowl to get that privilege, but it's all good.
Who should have won the Super Bowl?
Nah, they should have won it. So they could have got the game in Philly, but they lost. They got it. Unfortunately, got it. Yeah.
Fortunately for some of us, that Philadelphia did not win.
Right. Exactly. There you go.
Yeah, but unfortunately for the Philly fans, for sure. Unfortunately for you guys, for sure. But fortunately for the rest of the world, you did. Fortunately for the rest of the world, the rest of us sane individuals. I'm sorry. I'm
oh man. All right. Well, the Raiders, man, they lit cigars 2 straight weeks, but with the rested Dolphins team on the horizon, can they light cigars 3 straight weeks? Man, if you ask me, I'd say not. Anytime the Dolphins play a team that isn't that great, they go off. I think the Dolphins will put up 30 plus in this game. They'll definitely win this game, and the Raiders will not be lighting up anything. They'll be looking for the ice bath after the game. That's about it. But yeah, how y'all feel about the Raiders? Y'all think they'll beat the Dolphins this week?
So the spread is at 13 points right now, which is very interesting. It continues to climb. It's very interesting. I mean, the game is in Miami, so that's understandable. If it was in Vegas, obviously it'll be a little bit more competitive. I feel that. And A-Chain is supposed to come back too. The fast running back for Miami. He's supposed to be back this week. So it might get out of hand, but for some reason, I just feel like if it does, it'll probably be just like a 9 or 10 point win for the Dolphins. Because I feel like Antonio Pierce has kind of lit some sort of fire under the Raiders. And then they're just playing a little bit better brand football overall than what they've been playing, through the first few weeks when they had Josh McDaniels. So just look out for it. It might be a lot closer game than what we expect, but I'd still expect the Dolphins to win handily because obviously they win against bad teams. It's there. It's been proven.
Yeah, Marcus Peters is questionable. I'm going to assume that he's going to play. I'm going to assume that Max Crosby is going to play. I was a fan of Aiden O'Connell in the preseason. I saw a couple of his games. I was like, oh, okay, this kid pretty solid. So he's played decently. I mean, only putting up 16 points.
Yeah.
Most points coming from field goals with the 1 touchdown pass that he had. But I mean, the Jets defense is good, so I don't want to necessarily discredit that Jets defense. With all that being said, yes, Miami is more than likely going to blow these boys out. Pause. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. We might have to cut you off. All right, next one. Have now.
No, I'm just saying. And kudos, that was crazy. Kudos Antonio Pierce for turning the Raiders around. Pause. But
wow,
turning their season around. Yeah, I know. I'm off.
You're off. On one.
Sorry. Turning their season around. But Miami's well rested. Their offense is high octane, as I said previously. Chain's coming back. It's going to be next to Raheem Mostert. And then obviously, Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Yeah, it's go time. So, I'm expecting Miami to win. Unless Tua ends up concussing, in which case, which I don't wish on. I don't wish that on anybody. But if it does happen, then
look, you saw Tua. Tua might be different. You got the cornrows now, man. We don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Tua put it. Hey, he watched that Colin Kaepernick special on Netflix and put the cornrows in.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you what happened. That's what happened. He had some downtime. He watched the special, and here go cornrows. But before we move on out of this topic, I want to ask you all a question. Who do you think is going to have more receiving yards this weekend in this game? Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Because
what about receptions?
Maybe
Tay.
Devontae Adams.
They're gonna try to force on the ball, but yeah, it's gonna be Tay. I say Tay. Yeah.
All right. Well, I know we talked about it a little bit already, but we're gonna get into it in full scope. The Super Bowl rematch from last season, the Eagles versus the Chiefs, is on Monday Night Football, where the lights are shining bright. I know it's not the Super Bowl, but it's a rematch of it. And I'm hoping for the same outcome. I'm hoping for Patrick Mahomes to light this field up, throw for like 2-3 tugs. Probably, like you said, he's going to get one or two of those to Kelsey. I don't know if Kelsey's getting 5. If he gets 5, like you said, Ant, hey man, you called it here. You said it first, and it is what it is. But I do think he'll get 1 or 2. I think Mahomes will probably throw for 300 plus yards in this one. Jalen will probably get about 250 plus. We're looking at a nice game from Smith and what's his name, Brown as well. But I think at the end of the day, and I'm hoping at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs will get this thing done at home and secure this victory. I know both teams are coming off the bye, so let's get it. How y'all feel about this?
I'm hoping that Kansas City gets the dub, but Philadelphia, when they're in tough spaces, they somehow find a way to win, man. And Kansas City is known to drop a game or 2 of the season. I mean, they've already dropped 2, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Philadelphia gets their lick back. You know what I mean? As long as they get it back in the regular season, it's fine. Not when it matters most. You got Jason Kelsey, the sexiest man alive, or sexiest man alive candidate, I guess, for GQ. I don't know how that happened.
Stop this.
They do say the fall and winter is big boy season. So, and women love that like big body bearded
hibernation.
Yeah, exactly. I can't grow a beard right now. I feel like I look like Kevin Durant. I got like the beard with the beanie.
Hey yo,
like the attempted facial hair with the beanie.
Hey, it's funny though.
Kevin Durant's my guy.
It's funny though because I will say yesterday I saw this girl. She said she only going out with guys 250 plus pounds, nothing less. I said that's crazy.
Good for her. Body positivity, we love that. But no, it's going to be an excellent game. It's going to be in Kansas City. I don't know if Taylor Swift shows up. If she does show up, obviously we can pick. Even I would take that pick for FanDuel. Travis Kelce over 50 yards, over a TD, a guaranteed touchdown. Patrick Mahomes is probably itching to get back. Both teams are coming off bye weeks. I do expect AJ Brown to have a big game as well. DeAndre Swift is probably going to have a big game, and it's honestly going to come down to who's gonna have a more dominant offensive line, in my opinion, because the Eagles secondary, that's their weak spot. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys kind of exploited that last time we played. Dak going for 300+ yards and a couple TDs. Obviously, a couple miscues happen and we lose that game. But that secondary is easy to exploit. Now, the issue for the Kansas City Chiefs again, it's going to be that defensive line, that front seven. Philadelphia's front seven is just starting to click where they need to, and they're getting to the quarterback. So, what were you gonna say?
Well, I'll add this in. Kansas City in the last 3 seasons 5-0 off that bye week, while Philly is 3-1. So, if numbers don't lie. We're looking at another Kansas City win based off that.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good game. It'll be a great game between the two. It probably will be another, Super Bowl kind of like game. You'll see a couple big catches here and there, but I feel like it'll be a close finish, like a 28-25 type of finish or something like that, 28-24, something close. Because these teams don't know each other, but then again, they both are coming off of a bye, so they've been studying each other for the last 2 weeks. So it's going to be a lot of chess match type of things going on. Whatever bet that you have on Travis Kelce, just bet the over. I don't care what you say. I hear rumors about, both of the parents being there at this game because, Taylor Swift is obviously from Pennsylvania. So it's going to be one of those type of nights where obviously the camera will keep rolling up there and seeing all that going on. But bet the over for whatever that you see for Travis Kelce. I promise you it's going to hit. That's all you need to know. But yeah, I think it'll be a close game. It'll be a great game. But yeah, Kansas City should win it. It'll be a primetime W for them.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely hope they
and then obviously, of course, it sets up that matchup for you guys down the line, which is coming for that first place. So it still sets that up. Just y'all got to continue to win your games that are easy. That's it. But yeah.
Yeah, we just need the Eagles to lose. You're right about that.
That's it.
But yeah, we'll definitely keep watching on that. I'll be rooting for the Chiefs all Monday night. But until then, appreciate everybody for stopping by. You can follow us on IG at Views from the .50. Follow us on YouTube at Views from the 50 Podcast, on Spotify and Google Views from the 50. Until next week, we out of here.